All right. Hare Krishna. Today we'll be discussing Gita connection, lost and found, topic of lost and found in the context of Krishna's Virat Rupa. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukakaroti Vachalam Pangoram Gayatri Girim Yatkripa Tamaham Mande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Jayapataka Swam Nitinamini Namacharya Padaya Nitai Kripa Pradayane Gaurakata Damadaya Nagara Gramatarine Namam Vishnupadaya Krishna Prashtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. I prepared a little presentation to show the different kinds of Virat Rupa. So I'm just going to quickly show certain pictures that shows different kinds of Virat Rupa. This is something fascinating when Krishna speaks about, because there are different kinds of universal form of the Lord. One is what he speaks about in Srimad Bhagavatam. This is like more the Bhagavatam description, where he speaks of how the colors of the dusk and the dawn are his clothes, and the birds are his creative sense of being, and all the animals, etc., like his representations of his certain parts of the body, such as his feet, all that. Very beautiful depiction to remind us of who is in charge, who is everything dependent on, like that. And this is another of Virata Rupa, where the sun and the moon are the eyes, that concept. You can see here, and then you can see the moon here as well, and the different devatas and Brahma. Like actually today we studied that in the Srimad Bhagavatam, how Brahma is like the genitals, and then the fertility is ruled by certain demigods and everything. So it's like, very mysterious and very interesting concept. And this is also the Virat Rupa explained in Bhagavad Gita. This is different concept. This is more about destruction, everything is going inside Mahavishnu, everything is the whole planets and the universe is, and then he has all these different heads. This is a different form of Virat Rupa, sorry. What I also want to share is keeping this in this particular picture. We can keep this in. I don't know if I can raise this. Maybe I go here. Okay, I can. So what I wanted to share, this is so, I really am fascinated by this subject of how Krishna finds so many ways to reclaim us. So I want to share about in the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata, Krishna displays his universal form in the court of Kurus when Duryodhana tries to capture him, and he tries to bind him with ropes and everything. And at that time, he shows his Virat Rupa, and everybody is like flabbergasted. And all the whole courtroom is like in so much light, and they're like stuck in wonder. And then there's another instance that Krishna showed the Virat Rupa to Arjuna. The universal form was showed to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So the universal form is known in different places with different names. One is like Vishwarupa, another is called Virat Rupa, another is called Virata Purusha, another is called Vishwatanu, Vishwamurti, Vishwotmukha, something like that. So many names. And sometimes it's just called Purusha. As a first-hand witness to Krishna's display of this beautiful universal form, Arjuna, he describes what he sees in many adjectives, right? He's expressing wonder and bewilderment and fright. And Arjuna's vision is vividly described in the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. I'm going to sing a little verse about that from the Bhagavad Gita rap book. And not only did Arjuna see all the 14 planetary systems of the universe along with their residents, but also his vision also encapsulated the past, present, and future of everything exhibited in Virat Rupa. So it's something super fascinating because you could just see yourself, your past, your present, your future, and all the present and future of everybody there. So it's like Arjuna was blessed with divya drishti, means divine eyes, divine vision, to be able to witness this form. It's not like everybody could. Like when he appeared in the court of Kurus and for when Duryodhana was trying to capture him, people couldn't even see him. So Arjuna was given with those eyes. This means that even though the Virat Rupa is a material manifestation, without the will of the Lord, it's impossible to see it with our ordinary fleshy eyes. Even with technology or whatever, it's impossible to actually see it. So one of the questions this morning Vilas Manjari was asking is very relevant in this context, that it's not only that this particular, even though it's a material manifestation, even though this is actually meant for the atheists, without the Lord's mercy, it's impossible to see it. Okay, so even if we walk out and looking at the nature, looking at the birds, it's not necessary that we would be able to see it. And besides that, the Vedic understanding that the sun and the moon are not just physical celestial bodies just floating in the space, but they're actually conscious entities, and they're indispensably connected with our lives. So the sun is not just a source of light that enables our eyes to see, but here, when we're speaking about sun god, this personality, sun is a personality. He's considered as the presiding deity, and whose functions are to control illumination and the sight and the vision. Even in Vedic astrology, sun is also the controller of career. He controls our self-esteem, dignity, self-worth. So when people have a weak sun in their astrological chart, they have a weak sense of identity, they have a weak sense of self-worth. It's hard for them to take a stand for themselves, and so on. Likewise, the moon is also not just a piece of rock, but moon is also a conscious entity. And the moon is considered as the presiding deity of the mind, manas. Even in Vedic astrology, moon represents our emotional and mental strength. If somebody is emotionally weak, or if somebody is mentally weak, their moon will be debilitated or weak, or in an enemy sign, or aspected by inimical planets, making them unsteady in mind. They may lack determination. So it's not just some material manifestation which is up there in the sky and, oh yeah, we see it and yeah, we think, but it's actually personalities. These are deities which rule the microcosm. They are in the macrocosm and they affect our microcosm directly, influencing our quality of life. So fantastical as all this might sound, everything becomes quite clear when firstly we accept the point of consciousness. When we accept that consciousness, when consciousness is accepted as the cause of physical matter, as against the popular idea that matter produces consciousness, which is a scientific theory. When we accept that consciousness is behind matter, then all these things become very easy to understand. Otherwise, we are looking at the Virat Rupa, or we are looking at the material manifestations of the sun and the moon and the planets and the all the nature, etc., as a material manifestation. But actually, the Virata Rupa in this vision that we studied in the Bhagavatam gives us a deeper understanding of how these are personalities connected to the Lord, and these are empowered deities who are directly connected with our right now microcosm state of being as well. Okay, so this is the point. I'll repeat this. Things will become clear when consciousness is accepted as the cause of physical matter, as against the generally held opinion that matter produces consciousness. And the second point is that when it is accepted that consciousness presupposes a personality. So then everything has a context of understanding Krishna's Chaturvyuha form. When Krishna expands himself as, even the original personality is Dhirodhata, Dhira Prashanta, Dhira Lalita, and Dhirodhata. So these four different manifestations then expand into the Chaturvyuha. And then it's all about personality. And then what to speak of all these different planets and all these different elements which are connected to the deities, right? I was showing earlier picture. Let me go back. Taruni, welcome. Hare Krishna. So I was showing this image here, which is like amazing. This is what we studied in the Bhagavatam this morning. All the different deities representing different parts of the Mahavishnu's body. Wow, it's like fascinating, this is like what Vilas Manjari didn't want to visualize. But more or less it's an idea. And this is another idea here. This is also another beautiful picture. So let me continue my train of thought. These presiding deities or controlling deities, you can say the power deities, the devatas, and their abodes, they have their own planets, right? They are personifications. And these are considered to be situated as different limbs of the Virat Rupa. I think I should go back to that other picture that I was just showing, like this picture. Okay. These pictures are just to give you a very crude, very idea, okay? And Bhagavad Gita, 8th chapter, 4, text 4, this cosmic form, this person, this supreme person, is also known as Adi Daivata. Adi Daivata. So the following sections, in Bhagavad Gita, all this, how Krishna gives divine vision to Arjuna, and then the Virat Rupa, those people who are the people who worship the Virat Rupa, Sri Murti, how that is connected to Krishna and the personalities who he's connected to. There are different types of Virat Rupa. One is like Bhagavatam Virat Rupa of explaining things, and the other is the Bhagavad Gita Virat Rupa. And in the beginning, I was just speaking about Duryodhana and in Mahabharata, when Krishna came and Arjuna tried to capture him, that's one form of Virat Rupa. And then in the battlefield, Arjuna was shown another Virat Rupa, right? Those are that's the Bhagavad Gita Virat Rupa. Okay, now let me see. Yeah, so not everybody can see this. You need divine eyes to see this. Let me see if I need to go here. If you have questions on that, I can go, but there's so many beautiful details here. In order to understand this conception of creation, of this material universe, Krishna himself expands himself as Purushavatas, okay? He accepts material designations. However, because Krishna is Turiya, he's beyond material positions, and he's transcendental to all this, he's completely unattached. He's very unattached to positions and things. So these designations, okay, it's actually there's a quote of this. Let me just find the quote. So, okay, let me quote this. This is from Jiva Goswami. In the Bhagavatam verse, he says how he comments that Virata and Hiranyagarbha are respectively the gross Stula and subtle, Sukshma forms of the universe, superimposed on the Supreme Lord. Bhagavati Aropite, for the sake of worship, Upasanartham. However, the wise reject these forms and do not worship them, considering them to be manifestations of the Lord's external energy, Bahiranga Shakti, as stated in the term Maya Srishti, creation of Maya, and not as an expression of the internal potency, Swarupa Shakti. So the point is, temporarily, some occasions, a devotee can see Virat Rupa as the Lord, as remembrance of the Lord. Okay, for a devotee, obviously, we have the great fortune of seeing Shamasundara as the Supreme Lord, and we don't need to, but at occasions, we are reminded of that, and there is no contradiction there. Okay. The universal form is not one of the external forms of the Lord. Sorry, I'm sorry, I meant to say eternal forms of the Lord. It's just a fact. It's constantly changing as the material manifestation is changing, whereas his Purushavataras, his incarnations and his eternal forms as Krishna is fixed, right? Whereas the Virat Rupa is not fixed, and that we can find in the third canto Srimad Bhagavatam, where Prabhupada writes, this is from third canto, third canto, 6th chapter, 4th verse. Krishna exhibits the Virat Rupa. It is not that Krishna was exhibited by the Virat Rupa. The Virat Rupa is not, therefore, an eternal form of the Lord exhibited in the spiritual sky. It's a material manifestation of the Lord. But still, for a devotee, even a material manifestation, if it reminds us of Krishna and that he cares about us and he controls us, we still celebrate that. Then he also says in the Virat Rupa, the material manifestations of different planets have been conceived as his legs, hands, etc. The conclusion is that the material conception of the body of the Lord Virata is imaginary. So yes, we read that in the morning as well. It is an imaginary form. It is a temporary and changing form. It's not an eternal fixed form. At the same time, it aids our smaranam. It aids our thinking of the Lord. So similar to the development of a human body within the womb, the universe, as mentioned in the scriptures, is also first conceived as Hiranyagarbha, the golden egg that holds the unmanifest universe along with the sum total of all the jivas in subtle form, which then manifests the gross expression of the universe as Virat Rupa. So I know it's a little bit technical, but these are very beautiful points. I am just bringing the book for the wrap of the Bhagavad Gita Virat Rupa. It's so beautiful. So please give me 1 minute. Yeah. Okay, here it is. Arjuna asks Krishna to show him more. Arjuna says, Dear lotus-eyed Lord Krishna, you have knocked out all my doubts of soul and matter, life and death, and what you're all about. Although I love your pleasing form ideal for meditation, could I explore your cosmic form that swarms the whole creation? Can I withstand its grandeur, or will my senses still perform? If so, then please reveal to me your universal form. And Krishna says, Arjuna, buckle up, my friend, and see my mystic skill, as countless godly forms appear with colors set to thrill. These lines of shining demigods combine to show you more vibrations and a vision and a mood unviewed before. Whatever you may want to witness any time or space is showcased for you face to face at once and in one place. Your present eyes can't visualize this endless form of mine, so now you'll find a different kind, my gift of eyes divine. I love that one. My gift of eyes divine. The cosmic vision. Sanjaya is saying this. At once Arjuna noticed massive faces, mouths, and eyes with weapons, gems, and vibrant clothes of monumental size. In Krishna's cosmic body, he could see the gods dispersed on countless stars and planets strewn across the universe. 100,000 blazing suns are rising in the east, could never beat the light and heat this cosmic form released. The overwhelmed Arjuna felt his hair stand up on end. His mood now swayed. He bowed and prayed before his mystic friend. What happens next? Arjuna freaks out. Arjuna freaks out and says, your body is a facade for countless gods of awesome power. Lord Shiva's sacred serpents and Brahma's great lotus flower. So many bellies, arms, and eyes I cannot comprehend. For Krishna, nowhere does it start and nowhere does it end. With dazzling discs and brilliant clubs and crowns surrounding me, I cannot bear the blazing glare that's everywhere I see. Oh Krishna, you're our shelter, the foundation of us all. You're the perfect truth forever. You will never slip or fall. While standing still, you stretch at will through stars and cosmic night. Now all the worlds observe your form and shrink away in fright. No secret can escape your blazing eyes, the moon and sun. Now flames are shooting from your mouth, consuming everyone. As perfect sages worship you by singing Vedic hymns, the trembling gods bow down to you and bow down yet again. To see your frightening form so full of fearsome limbs and teeth, these mighty gods are struck with awe. Like me, they seek relief. As multicolored hues in you diffuse throughout the sky, I'm terrorized and paralyzed to see your mouths and eyes. O Lord of Lords, who holds the worlds, be merciful to me, a tiny man who cannot stand to see your deadly teeth. Your mouth sucks all these soldiers through its Jane fearsome lips, to jaws that gnaw their veins and brains to bloody broken bits. Like rivers rush into the seas or moths fly into fire, humanity flees to your mouth, the universal pyre. You cremate all creation with your blazing, scorching rays and swallow all survivors who attempt to run away. I beg to know your purpose and I bow down in accord. Please tell me who you are, so fierce, O form, O Lord of Lords. It's intense. And then Arjuna changes his tune. When Krishna says, time I am, the death of all, you're now in my domain. You and your brothers will survive, all others will be slain. So rise and fight, reclaim your rights, your destiny to rule. Your foes already decomposed, so why not be my tool? And Arjuna is saying, he's changing his mood here. True gurus choose to praise you, Krishna, conqueror of lust. You terrify the terrorist and reinforce the just. As you came first, the universe exists in you alone. You flow to every corner and you know that You flow to every corner and you know all that is known. The cosmos can't engross you, it is outposts you create. What insect would not genuflect to one who is so great? I bow 1,000 times and then I bow to you again, the cosmic squire who rules the fire, water, air, and moon. I bow to you from front to back and then from left to right, for anything that's anywhere is just your boundless might. My Lord, you should be glorified by everyone that lives, yet I have made offenses I implore you to forgive. How foolishly I chill with you in friendly conversation while thinking you were equals kicking back in relaxation. As cordial people overlook a disrespectful friend, as lovers often disregard remarks that might offend, as patient parents put up with the crude conceited son, forgive me for these thoughtless things I've ignorantly done. Your cosmic form has utterly shut down my mind with fear. Please show yourself again as I have known you all these years. And then Krishna says, you asked and I have shown to you my giant cosmic form, an awesome sight of light and depth that no one's seen before. And now you find your mind is blown, you're groaning and disturbed. Relax and see, it's me again, the way that you prefer. If you stood on your head all day or gave your gold away, you still would never see me as you see me here today. My devotees who constantly connect by serving me can see me as I am, my friend, and know my mystery. My servants hate to speculate. They treat all folks as friends. Removing karmic stains, they will attain me in the end. I love this chapter so much. It's so beautiful. So coming back to, see, while exhibiting the Vishwarupa, Krishna mentions to Arjuna at least thrice that he was seeing something that has never been seen by anyone before. Adrishta Purvam, even though the Vishwarupa was exhibited in the court of the Kurus before the Mahabharata war, right? The Duryodhana, when he captured that part, even though still Krishna is mentioning 3 times. So Srila Jiva Goswami in his Bhakti Sandarbha explains how whatever a yogi perceives in the Virata is similar to how any person as the witness of a dream is only a seer of all the people and things presented to that person in the dream. This is something I found so fascinating, you know. So furthermore, Jiva Goswami also says that the Lord is the creator even of dreams. Therefore, the assertion of Krishna to Arjuna that no one had seen him before as he has seen the universal form can be explained in that it was Krishna's will, that he is in complete control of whatever we see. And the understanding is also confirmed by so many other acharyas, okay? So one of the things I found was Sridhar Maharaj, okay? Sridhar Maharaj says, if the Supreme wills, one may see a sight that another may not see. He controls our vision like hypnotism, just like in the Virat Rupa Darshan. Arjuna prayed, I want to see that sort of your representation. Yes, you may see. Arjuna is seeing, and then he says, I can't see this any longer. Please stop, please stop. And so it was stopped. So how is this possible? The super subject is controlling the subject, the seer, and the feeler. And that's the way. And these things these things means the laws of nature may seem very rigid and very stable, but actually every experience comes from the higher and is controlled from the higher subjective world. So Krishna wants us to see, if Krishna wants us to see it, we cannot but see that. And this is something I find very fascinating in connection with how Virat Rupa is given the way Krishna wanted. Like, you know, I think even Dhritarashtra got that vision, like some vision, and nobody could see the Virat Rupa when he manifested that. So the eyes to see the universal form. Okay, this is a very important point here. It relates to both Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita explanations. In the battlefield of Kurukshetra, everybody present saw Krishna, right? Everybody saw him as a charioteer of Arjuna. The two-handed transcendental form of the Lord, which is considered to be the most original, most special, the eternal form, permanent form, fixed form, right? However, not everybody could see nobody could see the universal form, which is actually considered to be material and imaginary even. Imaginary means temporary and yes, imaginary. So without receiving this Divya Chakshush, even though it was a material manifestation, they couldn't see it. So there is this Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he writes about, I think this is, let me just find this. Yeah, this is a commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur on Bhagavad Gita, verse 11.8. He says, "You are my devotee, so you always see my form as Krishna with the eyes that are always anointed with love of God. But my universal form is a separated manifestation, so cannot be seen with the eyes that are smeared with love of God, or even the gross material eyes, and that the conditioned soul uses to see gross material objects." See the contrast. Divine eyes, Divya Chakshu, refers to those that are materially designated, but not composed of gross matter. Now I will give you the divine eyes by which you can see my mystic opulence. People whose divine eyes are anointed with salve of dry reasoning and argument naturally take more pleasure in contemplating on the universal form than my original transcendental form as Krishna. So this shows the other side of understanding the Virat Rupa. But moreover, Krishna, when he appeared on earth to perform transcendental pastimes, his most charming form is what everybody perceived. But not even in the same transcendental form as Krishna, not everybody perceived him in the same way. So there are gradations. Remember the coconut analogy in the morning class. The coconut analogy is similar here. The gradations of the vision in the Supreme Lord, it doesn't appear the same to everybody. It's different. And then Bhagavatam, there is this verse which speaks about this is beautiful. Let me read this. This is 10th canto, 43rd chapter, text 17. The various groups of people in the arena regarded Krishna in different ways when he entered it with his elder brother. The wrestlers saw Krishna as a lightning bolt, the men of Mathura as the best of males, the women as the cupid in person, cowherd men as their relative, the impious rulers as a chastiser, his parent as their child, and the king of the Bhojas as death. The unintelligent as the Supreme Lord's universal form, the yogis as the absolute truth, and the Vrishnis as their supreme worshipable deity. See, this is so beautiful. So on one side, we may say, yes, the Virat Rupa is actually, especially the one in Bhagavad Gita, that Virat Rupa is very ghastly. So devotees are not so inclined to worship that form. So nobody is actually asking us to go inside some cave in the Himalayas, sit down and meditate on the Virat Rupa. Nobody is asking us to do that. But occasionally, we are put in situations where we are forced to think of Krishna, even though it may not be his Shyamsundara form. And there is no contradiction in that. That's the point here. So Prabhupada says, so why? Because we are not naturally, devotees are not attached or attracted to the opulences aspect. We are attracted to the cowherd boy Krishna, right? Because we are, we are personalists. We want a personal relationship with the Lord. We're not just attracted to his universal form because he is like awesome. He is awesome, but he's awesome because of who he is originally. And anything he does is awesome. That's the Vrindavan mood, right? This is something else I wanted to. So when Arjuna asks Krishna to show the Virat Rupa, he's not doing it for himself, but it's just to convince others that this is Krishna. So this is again like another way that Krishna claims the lost souls. Okay. If you have any doubts, here I am. So as far as Arjuna is concerned, he's inspired by statements of Krishna, and in order to convince others about the future that Krishna is a Supreme Lord and he's not an ordinary person, he actually desires to see him in his universal form. Okay, I hope that is clear. Okay, any questions so far? I have so many points here. Very, very nice. So Vilas Munji, you came a little late, but maybe you can go over the beginning, some things I quoted. But just in continuation of that Sri Murti and Virata thing, I just want to add one more point, that the concept of Virata as a superimposed material form. Apparently, they look similar. How, like, I mean, that I don't know which image you're looking at. This one, let me show you. Then, okay. Both may appear like idolatry, right? Like you were saying in the morning, Vilas Manjari, I cannot imagine like this personality with all these things, on the plane of Shraddha, the two cannot be compared. It is said, our acharyas say that worship of Virat Rupa may be deemed as most original and primeval form of idolatry, if nothing else. So the Virat Rupa is an imagined material form, Maya Gunair Virachitam, and ascribed to the Paramatma, who factually is transcendental and devoid of any material form. This is for the sake of meditation by those that either have no knowledge or due to an impersonal understanding, they have not yet developed Shraddha towards the eternal forms of the Lord, and therefore they cannot conceive things beyond matter. Whereas, I'll quote another one from Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Sorry, just give me a second. My husband just walked in and said, I cannot conceive anything beyond material, but beyond, what was that? Beyond matter, he said. Talking about dinner. Okay. Now, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, okay, the Sri Murti aspect is conceived as. So in that assembly of sages, there is Vyasadeva, there are other sages who have a Shraddha, they have faith in the Lord, right? So it has been shown that Krishna is very personal, very beautiful, and Vyasadeva and so many others have seen in their soul's eyes the form of Krishna. And they have also left us description in Srimad Bhagavatam about that. And those, what was it? What does it say here? Of course, okay, something like it says here. But those who see the spiritual form of the deity in their soul's eye carry the impression as far as possible to the mind, then frame an emblem for their satisfaction of the material eye for continual study and higher feeling, are by no means idolatrous. Anyway, this is something from Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings. They're trying to make like a scientific study about these two concepts of understanding Krishna as a person, and if it is wrong to have this idolatry concept, and how the Virat form is connected. I don't completely grasp these concepts, but let's see what is relevant for us here. Just give a second as I read through this purport by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Okay. So this is a kind of conclusion, I would say. We are, by studying all these different quotations and understanding from Gita and understanding from Bhagavatam, we're trying to understand the position of universal form of the Lord, the Virat Rupa, with a neutral standpoint, collecting and assimilating different reports of our acharyas. Now, yeah, I like this conclusion here. Anything perceived as distinctively unique and most glorious in all comparison ultimately is only a fragment of the Supreme Majesty. The universal form of the Supreme Person stands as a testimony to this fact. The Supreme Person pervades everything and he's the basis of everything. Srimad Bhagavatam. Yat kincha loke Bhagavan mahaswad oja sahaswad balavat kshamavat Shri Hri Vibhuti Atmavad Adbhutanam Tattvam Param Rupavad Asvarupam. anything and everything which is exceptionally possessed of power, opulence, mental and perceptual dexterity, strength, forgiveness, beauty, modesty, opulence, and breeding, whether in form or formless, may appear to be specific truth and the form of the Lord. But actually, they are not so. They are only a fragment of the transcendental potency of the Lord. Actually, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also spoke about that point. Whether we should see Virat Rupa as the deity form or not. And how, he says the Lord cannot take material form. But then in Bhagavatam is saying that Virat Rupa is a material manifestation and it keeps switching and changing. Okay. Khushbu is asking, in Bhakti, is it important that which Rupa of Krishna we should remember or devoted to, or just love or pleasing him? You mean Rupa, you're including Virat Rupa? Or you're meaning like incarnations and different features of the Lord? I mean, different moods and like Purusha avatars of the Lord. Like I was saying, nobody is asking us to sit down and meditate on Virat Rupa like that. But at the same time, occasionally we are put in situations that we can, of course, remember. See, the dawn and the dusk is the dress of the Lord. And there is, yeah. Thank you, Sujata, for joining us. So I didn't understand, Khushbu, if you're speaking about Virat Rupa or you're speaking about like generally, if you're talking about like a Rama devotee or Varaha devotee.
Generally.
No, it's not so important because we all have certain rasas, like Hanuman is in Dasya Rasa and he is into Ram, and even if he comes in Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's incarnation as Murari Gupta, he's still attached to Ram, but he's still a devotee of Mahaprabhu, and Mahaprabhu is Rama and Krishna. So yes, bhakti is what is important, and yes, some of us may be more attracted to a certain form of the Lord like Nrsingadev, and some of us may be attracted to Varahadev, some of us may be attracted to Rama. The love is important, but at the same time, if we are following our acharyas, what is our acharya's mood? He Radhe Vrajadevike Chalalite, He Nanda Suno Kutha. That song is actually relevant to our theme today about lost and found and Virat Rupa, because the only thing worthy enough to be lamentable. The only thing that is worth to lament in this material world is this. He Radhe Vrajadevi Ke Chalalite He Nanda Suno Kuta. To go around and look for where is Krishna, where is Radha, where have they disappeared, and to run after. That's the only thing worthy of lamenting in this world. So we are followers of Rupa Goswami. We are followers of Lord Chaitanya, and our sampradaya is Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the worship is very specifically worship of Sri Radha and Krishna. So in that way, if we are following in that sampradaya, we are in that mood, we also adapt that, of course. But you may have other connections, relations, attachments, and that can actually aid in our progress. So they are not like mutually exclusive. You can be a devotee of Rama, but be on the path of Rupa Goswami and to be developing love for Sri Radha and Krishna. Because our destination is Goloka Vrindavan, right? We want to go there and be a gopi, be a manjari, and serve Srimati Radharani, and be a servant of Shri Radha Govinda. So, because that is our destination, we develop that mood. It's our rasa. I mean, of course, we don't know what is our eternal swarupa. This is all our swabhava in this world. Jiva swarupa Krishna Nityadas. We know we are servants of Krishna, but we still don't know what mellow will manifest for us. We don't know that, but it doesn't matter. As long as we develop connection with Krishna, we can develop relation as friendship or servant, as a father, we can see him. It doesn't matter as long as we take shelter of him and connect with him. I hope that answers the question. Anything else?
I really love the description that you were saying, Mataji. And I especially loved Bhakti. One second, Gaura. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj's, the comment, the last one, the summary that you were reading, like everything which is opulent and beautiful that we are able to see, it's just a fragment of the Lord because the Lord is pervading everywhere. So the fact that universal form, everything is present on that in the universal form, and whatever we are seeing is actually, we can again connect it back to Krishna. That was like very beautiful for me.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're just seeing things separately from the Lord. But then,
that's, we tend to think material, spiritual, right? But in today's, we read through, actually everything is spiritual. Everything is connected to Krishna. Even the material manifestation of Krishna is actually, spiritual. And also Krishna never takes any material form. So that's the Achintya Bheda Tattva as well, to understand the simultaneous oneness and difference.
And it was very, very, I think it was very powerful, that statement for me. Personally, I think it's made of, it's like a very deep and kind of a, impression. How beautifully, Bhaktisiddhanta, like the way he articulates and the way he gets it out, especially his conclusions are like, wow, profound.
So, I mean, I didn't read everything he says. He actually wrote, okay, this is an interview. Okay, let me just show you that interview, okay? This is very interesting. Let me just show this. See, in an interview in 1929, I mean, this is like a very scholarly presentation, as you said, so articulate, so beautiful. And somebody likes to read these two paragraphs here. So it's kind of technical, but it's very interesting in this context.
Is it true that God has no material body?
It is
true, sorry. Yeah. It is true that God has no material body, but he has his Sat, which is eternal, Chit, all sentient, and then Ananda, all blissful, transcendental body, visible only to the eye that is clear, devoid of matter. To the material eye, God is formless, but to the transcendental eye, he is with his body of Sat, of Chit, or all sentience. The murtis, the forms of the Lord, the forms of body prepared and worshipped by those who have not seen this Chit body of God with their true and eternal eye, cleansed with the colorium of love of God, are of course, idols, and all the worshippers of those idols must be idolaters. The worship of murtis of God prepared from imagination may be called idolatry. If a pure entity or unmixed soul sees that eternal form of God and receives it in his own pure receptacle, and then places this transcendental form in the world from his heart as illumine the intrinsically and essentially true form of God that never deserves to be called an idol. Just as even by coming down to this phenomenal world, God remains untouched by the influence of Maya by dint of his inscrutable power, so does his true form too, as revealed to the unmixed entity of his devotee, remain above it, even though brought down here. For this reason, the Vaishnava philosophy terms Sri Murti as his Archa Vartara, worshipable descent. Worshipable descent. That means the idol that we are seeing, that is conceived by the pure devotee in his eyes, in his pure, the mind's eyes, and from the heart that he's visualizing and seeing, that when he's bringing out in the murti form, that is not just an idol, that is the pure supreme form, Lord himself. So that's just the way he's bringing it out. It's like, wow.
Yeah, look at the way he exactly, and also the previously what I read, I think it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that he says the Lord, the way you see, even the Virat Rupa, the way you saw, it was given by the Lord. It's like different people see differently, even that form. So yeah, that was the answer to Vilas Manjari's questions in the morning about, visualize. But yeah, Krishna may give you a specific kind of visualization, and he may give another kind of visualization to somebody else. This was another best answer I had also found about Krishna, that he will manifest the way you want him to. It's not that Krishna, we see in a painting that particular Krishna, he'll manifest as you would like to see him. Isn't that amazing? Oof. He's so personal and he's so powerful.
The way we imagine it means, the way we think about the Supreme Lord, that means like a baby form or like a youth form or the Shamsundar form. Is it like that? That's how it is, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying, even like the features, no? The features, how you want. He will manifest according to your desire and your meditation. It's not that, like, for example, this Vishnu here, it's like that. It's not like it's like that. It'll also, he will manifest according to your mind and your desire. That was one of the best explanations I found. So it's the same here with Virat Rupa also. Like I was thinking now, when sometimes I'm flying in the air. Oh yeah, actually there is Radha Gopinath Prabhu from Chowpatty. There is a lecture of his where he speaks about Virat Rupa something. I was doing some research and I found this, that he says that when he went up in the airplane and he was in the thing up there in the sky, he was looking and he was actually remembering all the the bones, when he was looking at all the mountains, and he was actually saying that it was looking like this. It was looking like this, like that, like the bones of the Lord. And then he was saying when he looked at all the forests, the trees and everything, it does really look like beautiful hair. It's something interesting.
Yeah, especially the knuckles is like, wow, that is beautiful.
Yeah, he was saying, he was looking at that like that, like. So what I'm saying is, he was looking at, obviously you're looking at one particular place, right? But then it can manifest, like I was showing you in that image earlier, it can manifest as you imagine. It's the imaginary, literally means according to your imagination, the Virat Rupa can manifest. So, and to Arjuna in one way, and different people in different ways. And I'm thinking of, maybe it's a slightly different topic in Rasa, in Mellow. Sadbhuj, Mahaprabhu, he manifested as Rama and Krishna, right? The Sadbhuj is the sixth arm, but then he also manifested as Nasimha. Sixth arm, there is another one as Nashinga also. You see, I have Sadbhuj Bhagavan, I'm showing you the Darshan. There's Rama, Krishna, and Mahaprabhu. See? So that is also like he manifests, he can manifest. That's the thing. I ask these Madhva people also. There's sometimes like, how can Krishna come as such a devotee as Mahaprabhu? It's like, why not? Why can't he manifest? Who says he cannot? So similarly, like Krishna also, when we are worshipping deities, we have a specific meditation, right? And then Krishna can manifest in that way. It's not that he's limited to one particular thing. He can manifest according to our meditation and everything. Wow, I love this topic. It's so fascinating. And thanks to Vilas Manjari for all her doubts, because that pushed me into researching all these things that I presented today. Anything else?
Have you gone at our deities? First time seeing them.
Oh, you didn't see Balaji, the boss.
Balaji. Oh, okay. This Vishnu, right?
It's Balaji, Tirupati Balaji.
Yeah, correct. It's Balaji, correct, Narayan. Wow. Venkateshwara. My son is saying Venkateshwara.
Yes, Venkateshwara Swami.
Very nice, very nice.
Gaura, right? Gaura, look who is here.
Oh, little one. Yes, cute.
He's 200 years old, by the way.
Oh, wow. Really? It's come in your family, is it?
Yeah, family. Yeah. My father, my grandfather.
Is it from Udupi?
Well, we are from Udupi.
No, no,
Yes.
the little one, the little Krishna is also, is he
I
also from
don't know
Odisha?
where he's from. I don't know. I don't know the exact origin, but it's been in our family for generations.
He looks so fresh and nice.
Okay, we can end here and see you tomorrow in the Bhagavatam class. I mean, tomorrow for India, but you both, tomorrow is tonight, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
Good